AMD's best product is starting to crop up. Qualcomm admits their Snapdragon laptops are too expensive and the lawsuits, they're starting. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're gonna be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Friday, August 2nd, 2024. I'm gonna start off today talking about Strix Halo, which is the upcoming integrated APU designed from AMD that's supposed to be popping up in laptops. And this is supposed to be a massive chip comprising over 300 millimeters of graphics dies with two Zen 5 setups, making it much larger than previous APUs that we've seen. Something like Strix Point, which just launched earlier this week, which we're finding out in our reviews is quite capable. We'll have videos coming out on that soon, is only 225 millimeters squared for the entire thing. The Strix Halo setup should be 439 and come with three different power designs of 55 watts, 85 watts, and 120 watts in a single setup. And reports are that it's gonna be getting integrated in the ROG Flow Z13, so a gaming tablet design that Asus has come out with, essentially making it a gigantic Steam Deck. But details coming out on how they're implementing cooling, how they're planning on integrating this 120 watt Strix Halo into this laptop design. This is something I'm very excited for, especially with how I'm seeing Strix Point actually delivers in terms of its performance. Getting something like this, which allegedly is supposed to perform on par with an RTX 40 mobile, but again, in just a single integrated APU with no discrete graphics. You could have Strix Halo run a bunch of different games for you and still pair it with like an RTX 4090. It would be power limited in certain instances, but it could allow for an incredible gaming experience in terms of battery life, saving on that when it comes to the APU design, but then also having the extra oomph later on, and especially in something like the ROG Flow, they typically have external GPU support. That's something I'm looking forward to. If we could figure out how to cool a 120 watt TDP handheld, ROG Ally 2, gets me going. But what also has gotten going is the 9950X, this upcoming 16-core chip from AMD, is setting at least respectable records when it comes to its water cooling performance. In TimeSpy Extreme CPU benchmark, turns out that just water cooling this thing has made it the 5th most powerful processor on record, beating out a ton of Threadripper chips with more cores and really only losing to a couple other Threadripper chips that were chilled, as well as some Xeon chips, but even beating a liquid nitrogen cooled 3930X Threadripper system and a liquid nitrogen cooled 14900KS. The 9950X appears to be putting up insane numbers, being submitted to the HWBot benchmarking forums. And even though it's not necessarily hitting the top records everywhere, it does show that this is a pretty formidable chip when it should be launching sometime soon. And you just need to get ready for AI to be launching essentially everywhere that you want to use it. Taco Bell announcing that they're gonna have voice AI ordering at hundreds of drive-thrus near you coming out. They're expanding their program for AI voice. They've tested it in a few different locations, and now it's gonna be available more broadly later on this year, with Taco Bell saying that with over 2 years of fine-tuning and testing the drive-thru voice AI technology, we're confident in its effectiveness in optimizing operations and enhancing customer satisfaction. And saying that tapping into AI gives them the ability to ease team members' workloads, freeing them to focus on front-of-house hospitality. And this is despite the fact that McDonald's tried this and kind of pulled this back. I've seen a couple of Wendy's stores that have had this, and it doesn't seem to be a great experience overall, and tends to be a lot slower than just talking to a human. But who knows if this is actually going to work out. I'm actually curious. I've personally never ordered at an AI drive-thru ordering service. Have you noticed that this is better or worse than human interaction? Is it quicker? Is it slower? Do you think that you've gotten better service overall? Has it really led to fast food workers being able to focus on hospitality, or is this just something that companies are saying and then they're gonna cut their total staff count and make it so that they never have somebody there to take your order and it doesn't matter in the future? It's not about saving the employees any sort of effort, it's about saving the company the payroll expense of having a human doing any of the work. I wanna hear from you down below in the comments while we hear from Reece. How you can save money to then also cut your payroll expenditure with deals.
Yo, welcome back to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you guys had a good week. And let me send you off into the weekend right with some deals. Starting off with this Asus ROG Valkyrie officially licensed Xbox controller. Going for only $69.99 with include a promo code, making it $30 off for an Xbox controller with remappable back buttons and on-the-fly sensitivity switching for $5 to $10 more than a normal one. But then next up, we have the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3240 AIO CPU liquid cooler for only $76.99, making it $23 off. And then lastly, we have this ASRock Radeon RX 6950 XT Phantom Gaming OC graphics card. You can pick one up used, but like new for only $419.99. And don't worry, it's being sold by ASRock USA, so you shouldn't have any issues when it comes to warranty and the such. But hey, them's the deals. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm handing you off back to Brett for the rest of your hot news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, it turns out Qualcomm thinks that they need to be providing a better deal in terms of their laptops in the Snapdragon X Elite and X Plus, acknowledging that they are number one, too expensive, and number two, going to be coming out with cheaper versions in 2025. But they say it in the worst way possible, which is that they want to get to retail prices as low as $700 without compromising NPU performance, which is the thing that everybody knows is great and is the thing that's been delivering tremendous value to laptop users and is the thing that we are not struggling to benchmark when we're testing these laptops, because there's really no relative use case where you can like objectively benchmark them. It's been very tricky. It works in things like Microsoft Teams, but so does your CPU or your GPU, and it's really like it's not saving a whole lot of battery, and it's also not delivering a whole lot of AI performance that you can't find elsewhere. Getting down to $700 without compromising NPU performance, that means you're going to compromise on the CPU. That means that you're going to compromise on the graphics, which is already very subpar for what it's supposed to be delivering. I don't know that this is great, and especially with how many people are not buying these Qualcomm laptops, we're starting to see major discounts hit them. The Snapdragon X Elite HP OmniBook is down to $900 over on Best Buy. 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD. That's actually not bad for the performance level that you get, as well as the RAM and storage amount. $900 for that actually seems quite reasonable, which if they had launched at this price, that'd be great. But this launched at $1,200. I think even the X Elite chips should not be competing with anything close to a MacBook Pro. They need to be at a much more affordable price point in that sub $1,000 category, and it looks like they're getting there. And Intel is getting somewhere with all of the lawsuits that they've had been dealing with in terms of patent infringement from a company known as R2 Semiconductor. This is what some would call a patent troll company who acquires patents to then just sue companies like Intel. And now Intel has won the fight against R2 Semiconductor in the UK specifically. However, there are multiple different lawsuits going on in various different countries, including Germany, where Intel has lost, but now they are under appeal to get that changed. And they're also facing lawsuits in French and Italian courts as well. So this is going to be a long-term situation with Intel that they're kind of battling on multiple fronts, but doesn't appear to be the only lawsuit that they might have to expect, because now law firms are getting interested in the idea of potentially filing a class action lawsuit against Intel for their Raptor Lake CPUs. One specific law firm is investigating this and asking anybody who's had issues with their 13th or 14th gen desktop processors to submit their details to this law firm for them to decide whether or not it's worth pursuing a class action lawsuit against Intel. This wouldn't necessarily prevent other law firms from pursuing the same, and could potentially result in a modest payout of $20 in about 5 to 10 years, depending on how long this goes through the courts. Some people are saying that Intel has offered to replace damaged CPUs, such as this Tech Power Up article saying that could undermine the basis for a lawsuit. But as I've read everything, I've never seen anywhere where Intel has explicitly said that they will replace damaged CPUs. I've only seen them say contact Intel customer support, which video card spells out in this explainer of what we know about this entire situation. Intel asks anybody who's having problems, not that they will replace it, but that they ask you to contact Intel customer support, which from my stance has not been enough to communicate that the customer can get it fixed in case they are having this issue. It doesn't go that far. It only goes to that intermediary of ask customer support and see what happens, which especially when it comes to spending hundreds of dollars, if not $1,000 on a CPU, that's not the kind of communication I want as a customer in terms of knowing that my CPU is faulty. Intel, you know that. You need to tell me that I can get a replacement, no questions asked, if I'm experiencing these issues that frankly were caused by you. And you guys caused me to read things, comments, namely. I ask you to comment about things, and so I want to read them and talk to you about them. Over on Floatplane, we got Northern Llama saying, I hate subscriptions. Join Floatplane. Bit of a, I'm sure you know that was, you know, oxymoronic, because Floatplane is a subscription. But then over on YouTube, we got Jack saying, wild times, Microsoft being the best Linux salesman in 2024 and Intel being the best AMD salesman in 2024. Okay, I'm gonna have to disagree with the first half of that statement. Anybody who's displeased with Windows, by and large, is not looking at Linux as an alternative. They're using Windows because they don't want to be on Linux. And actually, Windows having problems is a good sales for macOS more than it is for Linux. The Linux adoption is by and large driven by Steam Deck adoption. Like in the enthusiast sphere, sure, more people are gonna switch over to Linux because they're gonna finally try it for the first time. We go through this every single time I bring this up. People will just comment time and time again, well, I switched to Linux because I was having Windows problems, and you are the exception. You are the exceptional individual. Most people who are having the problems with Microsoft will not be considering Linux as an alternative. They will be looking at Mac and Apple. But with Intel and AMD, absolutely, AMD is gonna benefit tremendously from what Intel's doing here. Then Fam saying, company, we're losing. We need technological advantages. What are we gonna do? Fire engineers, pay dividends to dumb generic MBA managers. Now we need engineers. We'll see how it goes. Layoffs happen. They might have to grow again in the future. We'll keep our eyes on it. And then Bare Essence, as well as several others in the comments yesterday, calling me out for something I got factually inaccurate, saying OneNote 5900 XT, despite its 12-core naming convention, is actually a 16-core budget 5950X. Appears same cache size across the board, just slightly lower boost and base clock speeds. That is my fault. I remembered it incorrectly. The naming scheme, just my brain went 12 cores. I'm completely wrong. It is a 16-core chip. I will work better to not make as many mistakes in the future, specifically that one. 5900 XT is a dummy cheap 16-core chip. $349 for 16 cores, fantastic. And then we got Plain Prince saying, BTW, who is the person making your shorts? That's Kyler. He's holding down the base at the UFD headquarters, but he has been around for 2.5 years at this point, and being a part of UFD Tech. He has written at least half of the shorts that you've seen. I don't write all of the shorts that we make. I do write a large portion of them, but he has been making them in terms of their substance for quite some time. He's just now filming them because it's difficult for me to find time to film anything besides hot news while I'm here traveling with my family. So he has been around. He's filmed shorts before. He has had shorts that have gotten over 1 million views. So this is just, he's gonna be more regular, especially while I'm on the road, but I'll get back to filming as soon as I return to my headquarters. So enjoy, Kyler. The substance really shouldn't be different because he has been writing them, as I mentioned. So thankful to have a team that can keep things going while I'm traveling. We have Reece still doing deals, still doing the Twitch streams where he entertains you for a little bit. Kyler and Michael will be doing a PC build stream today as well that you can find here on YouTube as well as on Twitch. As well as thankful for the editors, Rikus and Catlin, for editing all of the regular videos, the shorts, the videos that are gonna go live this weekend that are not hot news. I wouldn't be able to travel like this without a team, and so I'm super thankful to them and making it so that I can enjoy at least some sense of vacation, even though I'm still getting hot news done. So I'm grateful for my team. Thank you for allowing me to have this job where I can relax a little bit, but still provide for everybody here in my family, as well as that's part of the UFD Tech team. So I'll be back with more of the hottest tech news on Monday. I'll see you then.